Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to card making tutorial 571. Now today we're going to make a gorgeous card and everything I use will be listed on my blog as normal, with lots of photos and information both inside and outside of the card. Now we're actually going to include a Christmas rosette from our Anna Griffin goodies for this card. And I know what you're thinking, we've had Christmas, however I think the rosette that we use is perfect for all the year round. We're going to cover the sentiment and just make good use of what we have. And I think this one has a great tip for frame building as well in it. So as I say, you can see everything on my blog, lots of photos. Please don't forget to subscribe to YouTube. And don't forget to hit that like button as well underneath if you've enjoyed any of the videos. You can always share them with your crafty friends. You can always find me on Facebook, on Twitter, and my personal favourite, Instagram. I really do like Instagram. I think it's because I love seeing your photos and you see me all the time and I get to see your photos on Instagram and feel like I'm part of your family and your crafting community. So that's nice. If I haven't followed you yet, just, send me a quick message. Say hello, you haven't followed me. Because there's so many people to follow and I'm so nosy, sometimes it passes me by. Anyway, so enough fluff. As one brilliant viewer said to me, I don't fluff, and I love that expression. So without further ado, let's sit back and have a look at today's gorgeous card making tutorial. So for today's tutorial, we're going to be using the Anna Griffin Sentiment Stamp and Die set. We're going to be using the stamp that says Just For You, and we're going to be using the die, the little circle die for the stamp. We're going to be using the embossing folder tooled paisley from the Anna Griffin tooled leather collection, and this is going to create a gorgeous background. We're going to be using the Fancy Flourishes die set 2, and we're going to be using this particular flourish. I don't think we need to get hung up on which flourish it is because I think so many of them will work. But for anyone that wants the particular one, it's this one. I don't know what it's called, but it's a beautiful one. Then we're going to be using our reticulated border frame die collection. We're going to use our shadow layer for the inside of our card, and we're going to use the ornate layer for the outside of the card. And I want to show you a really neat trick with this for the outside, something a little bit different. Some of you might have seen me do it before, but for any new viewers, it's worth watching. It's a great effect, and you'll get twice as much use out of your dies doing this as well. So the card we're going to use is our 7x5 inch card. It is my favourite size of card and I use it a lot. I'll show you how it looks on our cardometer. Now for any new viewers, my cardometer is something that I've designed. It's mine and it shows you exactly what size we're using. It gives you perspective. Our largest size is the A4, and I know my friends across the pond, your sizes are a little bit different, but you'll know yourself what sizes these are. So it just gives you perspective of the 7x5. So we go A4, A5, which is your A4 folded in half, then the 7x5, and that's the size that we're using. We go down to A6, which is A5 in half, and A7, which is A6 in half, and finally the ATC. So we're using the blue one here. That's our 7x5. It's just a plain blank ivory card. I've already stamped on the back using my handmade by stamp. I've added my name and the project number. Now I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure we've still got a nice sharp edge along that score, because we want it to stand up professionally on a mantelpiece. We want it to look good and have a professional crease. Now we're going to do the inside first, and the inside, very simple. I've used the shadow layer of the reticulated die, and I've created a shape and then I've embossed it using our tool leather embossing folder, and I've die cut an oval scallop shape from the centre. Now the oval scallop is a die from my own stash. You could use any shape. Anna has some gorgeous nesting dies that were in a large collection, the compendium collection. They would work perfectly to get a nice shape in the centre. It's just for contrast. So I've got flat tape on the back of this, and I'm going to take the tape away, and then I'm going to add this to the centre of our card. And even though it's embossed, I'm happy to have that slight raised edge inside. And I can press that down. The scallop that I've die cut in the centre, I've die cut a piece of ivory cardstock exactly the same shape. So where the aperture is in the embossed layer, I can add my scalloped layer of cardstock into that, and it will sit perfectly and fill that gap. I've also taken, now I've been asked about this before, Anna used to have a lot of kits with border strips in, and I've been asked what can we do with them, because you know we've still got them and we want to use them. Well, I've taken one of the border strips. We're going to use one for the front, but for the inside what I've done is I've die cut it. I took it through my Empress with the reticulated shadow frame to get the edge shape. I've just got flat tape on the back of it, and I've just popped it along the top there and pressed it down over the embossing. It still sits flat. Now I've got to say mine is a little bit short before anybody writes to me, only because I've used the majority of it for the front, and this was my leftovers. So it kind of shows you what you can do with your leftovers. So even though it's a little bit short, nobody's going to notice that. Now we're going to add a sentiment. I've die cut a circle, and I've die cut a circle with our Just For You stamp in it from the sentiment stamp and die set. And I've taken these through my Xyron machine. This is something else I'm also asked. I've taken it through my Xyron machine. Once I've done that, I'm going to rub it around the edge and front and back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, where the actual glue is on the carrier sheet, we're going to break the seal around the edge of the actual circle, and that frees the glue, so the glue will only sit on the back of the circle where it's needed and stay on the carrier sheet. So I've rubbed that over. Now I can peel away the top sheet that has the glue on it, and that's left a blank sheet. So I've now got my two sentiments, and I'm going to stack one on top of the other. I've used the Anna metallic, the metallic layers, 7x5, the green that's in there, and ivory cardstock. So you simply peel them off. It's got glue on the back, and now I can add this just to the inside of my card, and that gives us lots of room for a message underneath. We've got our sentiment in there. It looks really pretty, and it's going to match to our outside as well. So I can press that down, and now we can turn our attention to the outside. Just quickly use my bone folder again from the Anna Griffin tool collection, just to make sure I've still got a nice sharp crease. Now our first layer for the outside, I've used the Anna Griffin satin gold foil, and I've embossed it using our tooled paisley embossing folder. I've got flat tape on the back of it, and I've cut it to 1/4 of an inch smaller than our actual card base. And then I can press that down like that. And how pretty does that look? Next, now this is where I want to show you a little bit of a trick with our reticulated dies. I've die cut a gold reticulated die, and I've die cut a green reticulated die. Now the green one I've cut in half. I've got 3D foam and tape on the back of it, but I've cut it directly in half. And what I'm going to do is peel the tape away from the back of the gold frame, and I'm going to marry up the pattern, but they're going to overlap. So just slightly along the edge. So you see where this edge is here, it's going to match up with the edge on the gold frame. So it gives a shadow layer. Just a touch. It's not a great deal. You can put it exactly where you want. You can make it as highly shadowed as you want. I'm just having a touch of the shadow just so that you can see it, like so. I think that's about enough. Now, I would normally do this flat on the desk. I wouldn't do it in midair, but it's because I've already got the tape off the back, and you will be doing it on your desk and you will only have tape on one layer at a time. So now we turn it round and we're going to do exactly the same at the other side to give it a shadow effect with the green and the gold. And again, you will be doing that flat on the desk like so. So that gives us just a very small shadow effect of the green. Now it will make a difference, and it is such a good effect. I can peel the tape away from the back. I've got 3D foam on it, and I'm just going to position that through the centre of our card like that. Then I can press it down. So you can see the green coming through, not too much, and it's just such a good technique is that. Next, because where we've got the overlap through the centre, I know some people are a little bit fussy and they don't want to see the edges. So this is where our border strip's going to come in. So I've got one of the border strips from an old card making kit, and I'm simply going to position that over the centre, and that would cover any edges that don't quite meet up. I'm going to snip away the excess at the top and the bottom like that. There we go. And now that covers over the centre and it just looks so pretty. Next, I've got the flourishes that I've die cut in the green cardstock, and I'm going to add these, one to the top, one to the bottom. I'm not being careful where I'm positioning them. I just want one at the top and one at the bottom. Now the fun part of this is I'm actually using a Christmas Rosette from Anna Griffin. I've picked out one of the gold ones. It's got a snowflake centre and a beautiful pattern on the background. Now we're going to cover the snowflake for this because we're actually just making an all occasion card, but you can still use them because the pattern on the actual cardstock isn't necessarily a snowflake. It's just such a pretty pattern. So I'm going to position that in the centre between the flourishes, and then I'm going to add a sticker from the actual mini flower and sentiment sticker collection. I've got that on 3D foam even though it's a sticker, I've taken the back away and I've put 3D foam on it. I'm going to position that over our snowflake. So now it's any occasion is that rosette. I've picked out some gorgeous flowers from the mini flower and sentiment stickers. I've got them on 3D foam. I'm going to position one at the bottom, one at the top, like so. And then I've got 2 extra ones for the sides at the top. And there we go. We'll add those either side of the rosette and press those down. And then I'm just going to finish the card with a little green bow, well, it's a large green bow, underneath the sentiment above the flower. And that is our card finished. And I just think that is such a gorgeous combination. The green and the gold and the flowers, and it just works. And I think even though we're using the Christmas Rosette, nobody will ever know. Stands up perfectly. The inside matches gorgeously to the outside with the green, and we've got our sentiment at the top, and it just works. Now we've got a couple of layers on there. You might need a big fat mailer for that. And check my blog for extra photos, nice close-ups of it, to see our shadows with our flowers, and it's just so pretty. I really like that. And you could do it in a number of different colour combinations. It doesn't have to be the gold and green, but I just think that works. So check the blog for lots of photos, and both inside and outside of the projects. There's lots of projects on there. Feel free to share with your crafty friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking here when my little face pops up, and you will get to be notified when new videos are available. I know I'm probably repeating myself with that, but a lot of people don't know, and we've had a lot of new viewers as well over the last couple of weeks, which is great. And you're all welcome, and it's great to have you on board. So I would just like to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.